Welcome back. It's another episode of Tea Time. Slight changes. One of my hosts, Ashley, is currently sick, so we brought in our director.
Hi.
To fill in for her because it can't be a one-person podcast. So today we're going to be talking about public versus private schools, specifically Sophia's school because she has experience with private. Without further ado, let's get into it. So let's start with the public school differences. Mainly, I'm assuming it has to be with uniform administration and just in all ways like self-expression in a way. Because, I mean, private schools, they have like a very strict way of uniforms. Am I right?
Yeah, it's super strict.
We already explored in the last episode that we had to, work with uniform policies and the pros and cons. But what specifically about private schools makes it so different from public?
Well, it's not really that there's a difference. It's just that it's a lot more strict than in public schools. I'm not stereotyping anything. I know there are private schools that aren't necessarily as strict, but they have a standard in the archdiocese where you have to meet, like, it's not that you have to look a certain way. I don't want to say that you have to look a certain way, but it's kind of like that.
There's it's like a formality that you kind of have to look one way.
Yeah,
but you shouldn't look the other way.
Yeah. Okay. Like the whole thing where we said that in the first episode we mentioned that it couldn't mix with gender identity and
right.
It couldn't, I don't know how to describe, like it couldn't go against your religion. In private school you don't have that option. Like if you were a male and you wanted to wear the girls' uniform, you literally can't. They would give you whatever punishment it may be. And because they also weren't very lenient with that.
With like LGBTQ issues and stuff.
They weren't very lenient with that. And then as far as the uniform policy went, they were a lot more strict with it. Like in public schools you can personalize your uniform more than you could in private school. Like in private school, I remember at least my school, they had a rule where you couldn't wear certain bracelets. Like it could only be silver.
Really?
It could only be silver or gold.
That's crazy.
And it could only be one. You couldn't wear more than one.
So what?
Yeah.
I'm wearing like 3 rings and like 2 bracelets.
We would both get detention straight off.
What? I'm sorry, that's crazy to me. I have no private school experience. I've been public my whole life since literally kindergarten. So that's crazy.
Yeah, I was in a private school for 11 years of my life, and then when I started here, it was like, wow, the difference is huge. For example,
yeah, because you started this year.
I started this year, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm just processing that.
And another thing was the jackets. The jackets, you had to wear a school jacket. It couldn't be a black jacket, couldn't be a university jacket. It had to be specifically the school jacket.
So kind of similar to here, just our school's less strict.
Yeah. Wow. And then even if you were wearing it around your waist, if you weren't using it for its intended purposes, you would get reprimanded for it. And yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, one time I was standing in the lunch line, I was waiting to get lunch, and I had it around my waist, like not realizing it. I was just in a hurry to get out of the class and go to lunch. And the assistant principal comes up behind me and she rips it off my waist. And I'm like...
Wait. Rips it off your waist?
Can't
that be like, not assault, but that's like not morally correct.
It's not. Whatever. She ripped it off and she said, come at the end of the day, pick up your jacket. And I'm like...
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. As far as administration, how is it different or is it kind of similar to a public school?
I feel like at least this school, because I've only ever had experience in this school as part of a public school. Mm-hmm. In this school, I feel like in private school, they're more into everything. Like, you know how Dr. B is super nice.
Dr. B is our principal, by the way.
Yes, Dr. B is our principal. Dr. Bracera is our principal. And in comparison to the private school, the principal would be walking the hallways, constantly doing uniform checks, make sure everybody was meeting conduct.
So coming here must have been like a huge relief.
It was a huge change and it was a big adjustment.
Not trying to make private schools sound bad.
We're not throwing any shade on private schools.
No tea, no shade. Just saying, this must have been like, because I know, like, you, from what I know from you so far, you do not seem like the type of person that would like that much uniformity.
I really don't. I kind of like to express myself in what I wear, and when I was there, it was kind of like restricting, and I wasn't able to show my personality as much. Like, if you compare, even my personality completely changed. Another thing that's a big difference is they didn't
phones?
They didn't allow phones on campus
At all?
At all. So you couldn't even have it in your backpack. If they found a phone in your backpack, you would get detention and possibly suspended.
Sorry. That's whoa. Okay. Because Miami-Dade, you can have a phone. It just has to be put away in your book bag. That's on the student handbook that we signed. We can have a phone, but we have to have it put away and off in our backpack. Wow. Suspended?
You couldn't have. I think it was a detention, and if it was a repeated offense, they would suspend.
Oh, okay.
And if they found it in your back, they would do random book bag checks.
Oh, we don't have those here. Okay.
They would do random book bag, especially, it was like right after Parkland where they started that.
Yeah.
And it was especially in middle school. So this has been Tea Time with Issa and Ashley, who again isn't here.
But we have Sophie for the next couple of episodes.
So this is Issa and Sophie signing off for Tea Time.
Bye.